Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. Today is a beautiful day. It's like 60 degrees out there, so it's a perfect day. It's nice and warm here inside the studio, so I can work in here for a while. I decided that I was going to start the cleanup process. Every spring, I go through a cleanup process here in the studio, and I have a lot to clean up. So I'm gonna be redoing the terrain wall, all the shelves in the terrain wall, and I have a lot of space in the studio for a couple of big projects. So I want to make sure that the terrain wall is set up, have some new shelves, and I also need a lot of scatter terrain this year. So I am making space in all the shelves to be sure that I have enough to accommodate these new projects. And a lot of these things will go into Scratch Builder monthly, or you guys will see update videos, especially of the larger tables that I'm planning. I'm going to be doing a couple of pretty big projects later on, probably closer to the summer. Okay. But for now, a lot of what I'm doing today is just reorganizing some of the miniatures. I have a lot of terrain right here in boxes because I take a lot of terrain to the house where we have our winter quarters, and I keep a couple of boxes of terrain in the winter so that I can continue playing. But this is really the heart and soul of MJ Hobby Corner. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, here's some terrain boxes. These were the cavern terrain that I just used for a video that I put up for Anthems of War. There's part of the terrain wall, and all that stuff is coming out. I'm going to be redoing the shelves and just fixing everything up. And here are some of the terrain bins that I use. So all those things, I'm going to go through all that stuff. There's some scratch builds on trays, and then there's my primary scratch building bench. And look at that, look at all the stuff, all the scratch builds here. All this stuff has a place. I'm going to be redoing all the shelves underneath, and the shelves in there will accommodate some scratch builds as well. I'm going to be putting up some shelves here, and that will accommodate some of the stuff. I have a whole miniature section here, and I'm probably going to be adding some shelves to accommodate some of these miniatures, but these are all my Age of Sigmar stuff. There's quite a bit of miniatures there, you know, all Age of Sigmar, and there's some Reaper miniatures in here as well. And quite a few manufacturers, actually. There's Wrath of Kings down there, and just a lot of stuff. And then this is another miniature shelf, and this has a lot of Reaper minis and Cav minis. There's a lot of Mantic miniatures here as well. Some scratch builds. Okay, so lots and lots of stuff. And I'm going to be going through all of these shelves and reorganizing. Here is my foam scratch build. Check that out. These are all the spaceships. Okay, there's a little Lehman Russ right there, foam. And all of these things I'm going to go into Scratch Builder Monthly. I'm going to make a new fleet of starships. And right now I'm working on airships. So you guys are going to see a lot of like airship work right now. But these are all my foam scratch builds. We have my Spelljammer scratch builds down here. There is a ton of stuff, my sci-fi tiles. There's a big boat airship that I'm going to be finishing hopefully sometime. And these are like the unfortunate like rejects. A lot of these models are models that have to be repaired. There we go. And some D&D board games. This is all Descent. During the first beginnings of the studio, I just had a very serious heart failure, which left me disabled. I had problems with my liver, my kidneys, and this was all going on during the pandemic. So you can imagine like the way hospitals were and everything. It was a very, very difficult moment. So this studio gave me the opportunity to do something. You know, I need to do something. And so I began to slowly prepare it, and we were filming in here during the oldest videos. You might still see them on the channel. I removed a lot of the older ones. I still have them, you know, archived, but there's still some pretty old videos there. Back when I was still going through therapy, I did a lot of cardio therapy, and I had a life vest on for 6 months because they were worried that my heart was just my ejection fraction was 19%, which was very, very low. That is the pumping power of your heart. It's called the ejection fraction. And so at 19%, it was extremely low. Oh, so it were very difficult times the first year or so when you know, the studio really began. It was very difficult. And now, of course, Julie is also disabled, and so it's tough. But this really gives us a lot of. It just gives us something to do, and we really enjoy it. You know, we love this stuff. It's so much fun to be able to have, and I am in that sense very lucky and privileged to have a space where we can do this, you know, so that's very important. In the scratch build department, we have quite a few of my like very own sculptures and scratch builds. There's a dragon I sculpted probably like 5 years ago now, and before I even had the channel, and some random figures that I sculpted, some wooden tanks that I made. You know, we have some foam tanks and artillery pieces made from junk. There's a walker back there that I made, some foam jets, you know, and just quite a bit of scratch builder stuff. There's a nice hovercraft that I made out of foam and other pieces, and cardboard tanks, as you can see, and quite a few scratch builds that some of you may recognize if you've been with the channel for a while. These are all made out of clothespins, these vehicles and mechs. Yeah, so quite a big collection of wooden clothespin scratch builds and walkers and such. Sorry if the lighting is not perfect. You know, it's kind of bright out, but yeah, this is my scratch building section, and we have this is one of the scratch builder sections, and quite a bit of like sculptures and things that I've done even before the channel. So, and we have some miniatures down here as well. And giant ants made out of tinfoil and pipe cleaners, because why not? There's some more giant ants, tinfoil and pipe cleaners, and some ants with guns out of pipe cleaners. Again, why not? And on the primary painting station, I have a lot of miniatures already out of shelves because I'm redoing the shelves. So a lot of Mantic stuff, Rune Wars stuff. I have some of my own sculptures like this skeletal creature, and just a lot of Mantic stuff. Some old 40K stuff as well, which you guys have seen. And yeah, these are some miniatures, 15 millimeter Battle Valor miniatures that I'm painting. And yeah, quite a bit of stuff. So all this stuff is now out of the shelves that they were in, and I can get ready to you know, relocate them and label them. And I'm separating the stuff that needs to be painted, putting them on their own little section, so I know exactly how much work I have. This guy's really cool. Look at this guy. This is from Wrath of Kings, like a cybernetic werewolf. Really cool. I love this. I love it. So, and a lot of Mantic stuff. I do like Mantic games a lot, and so I collect a lot of Mantic miniatures. All right. The final miniatures collection is here. There's a lot of Gates of Antares stuff, and I'm going to be putting more shells in here. This is right underneath all the scratch builds that you see up there, and this is a major miniature uh, section, and I have all of my War Machine and Hordes collection right here. Quite a few factions and miniatures. Some of the stuff I took out already. So all this stuff's coming out because I'm going to reorganize and label all of the factions and stuff. I really want to do that. And I already have a good shelf in here. My friend made me that shelf, and it's looking really good. So that's War Machine and Hordes. And then if we go here in the last section, we have all the Drop Zone Commander stuff, which again has to get reorganized by faction. I got to clean out some of the section there. There's a little bit of foam and all that. So all that's going to be cleaned up. And then these were foam bits that I used to kind of prop up, do some shelves, some makeshift shelves. This is all coming out, and I'm going to have some proper wood shelves. And here we have some like Dark Age Apocalypse figures, some of my favorite creatures there. And I'm just going to close that up. So yeah, all of that gets reorganized, and there's more scratch builds up there, and a lot of stuff. And this is a Julie's Tau army that I never got to paint. So hopefully I'll get some painting done this summer. I am painting a lot of, getting a lot of Mantic stuff painted this time around. So pretty cool. So come join us if you're interested in model building, scratch building, if you're interested in miniatures, games, miniature wargaming, and even role playing. We are gonna start adding some role playing material as well. So I usually do a lot of work here in the summer. This is where I spend a lot of my time. I usually work anywhere from 4 to 6 up to 8 hours in the studio. I come in, I have my own little schedule, and I just come in and do whatever needs to get done to get content out, to get our games in. And now that I have Scratch Builder monthly magazine, this will be the first time that I can work here in the studio for the magazine. So that's an added little bit of work that I have to do, but I really enjoy it, and I'm very grateful to everyone that has purchased Scratch Builder Monthly, and to all my patrons. I also want to give a lot of thanks to my patrons on Patreon. It's really helping the studio a lot, and that's what I would like. I just want the studio to be self-sufficient, to have its own little budget so that I can continue work. All right, well, I can't wait until we start filming here again, and we have everything in place and organized. A lot of this stuff's probably going to be shifted, changed, because I have the space to do about 3 or 4 tables lengthwise across the studio. And if we want to play role-playing games in here, we can. It's very rustic, very cabin-like. So for role-playing, it's excellent. And yeah, definitely want to get all my benches ready. So in March, as soon as the weather starts getting a little, probably towards the end of March, as soon as that weather starts getting consistently good, we move in here, and this is where I will be building and filming.